Japan doesn't just clean its homes. It builds cleaning habits so effective that mess never accumulates long enough to become a problem in the first place. A pocket-sized stain remover that dissolves spills on contact, so stains never get the chance to set. Appliances pulled out and wiped down monthly so grease, dust, and grime never get the chance to bake onto surfaces. And a garbage sorting system so disciplined that bins stay clean, odor-free, and never overflow. These aren't complicated systems. They're daily habits so embedded in Japanese culture that a spotless home isn't something you work toward. It's simply the result of a standard routine. Today we're counting down 14 Japanese cleaning habits that keep homes spotless. Watch until the end because number 14, the nightly kitchen reset, is arguably the simplest habit here and the one that makes the biggest difference. Number 1, instant clothing stain remover. Stains set fast. The longer something sits in fabric, the deeper it bonds with the fibers, and the less likely any wash cycle is to remove it completely. Most people blot it, hope for the best, and throw the item in the laundry basket where it sits for days before it gets washed. Japan treats it immediately. Japanese stain remover pens and sprays like E2 and Attack Stain Clear are carried in bags, kept in desk drawers, and stored in kitchen cabinets specifically for this purpose. The moment something spills, you apply it directly to the stain, work it in briefly, and the formula breaks down the stain on contact before it bonds permanently with the fabric. The difference between treating a stain within 30 seconds and treating it after 2 days in a laundry basket is enormous. Japan understands this, which is why instant stain treatment isn't considered excessive. It's just the obvious thing to do the moment it happens. Number 2, toothbrush for tight spaces. Standard cleaning tools cover flat surfaces well. Cloths, mops, and sponges handle counters, floors, and walls without any issue. But every home has gaps, edges, and tight spaces that none of those tools can reach, and those are exactly the places where grime accumulates most stubbornly over time. Japan uses a dedicated old toothbrush for every one of those spots. Tap bases where mineral deposits build up around the fixture, grout lines between tiles that darken gradually with mold and soap residue, the edges of drain covers, the seal around the base of the toilet, the corners of window frames. Every tight space that a standard cloth skips over gets scrubbed clean with a toothbrush. The bristles are firm enough to dislodge buildup, but precise enough to work in spaces a centimeter wide without damaging surrounding surfaces. In Japan, an old toothbrush never gets thrown away when it's replaced. It gets reassigned to the cleaning kit and used until it's completely worn down. Number 3, weekly balcony sweep. Most people treat the balcony as an outdoor space that doesn't require the same attention as the rooms inside. Dirt accumulates on the floor, mold establishes itself in the corners, and the whole surface gradually becomes something you stop looking at closely because it's easier not to. Japan sweeps and wipes the balcony every single week without exception. Because Japanese balconies are used daily for airing futons, drying laundry, and growing small plants, they're treated as functional extensions of the home rather than forgotten outdoor spaces. A weekly sweep removes dust, pollen, and debris before it builds up. Corners get wiped down to prevent mold from establishing itself in the damp gaps where walls meet floor. The drain on the balcony floor gets cleared of debris so rainwater runs off cleanly rather than pooling. It takes about 10 minutes and prevents the kind of accumulated grime that eventually requires an entire afternoon and a pressure washer to deal with. If you're enjoying this so far, go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's clever everyday innovations. And if you love discovering things you didn't even know existed, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. Trust me, the next ones are even smarter. Number 4, window cleaning with newspaper. Most people clean windows with paper towels or microfiber cloths and a spray cleaner. The result is usually streaky, partly because paper towels leave lint behind, and partly because most spray cleaners leave a residue that catches light at certain angles. Japan has been cleaning windows with newspaper for decades, and it works better than almost anything else. Damp newspaper cleans glass streak-free because the paper fibers are significantly denser than paper towel, leaving no lint on the surface. The ink in the newspaper acts as a mild solvent that cuts through grease and grime without leaving any residue behind. You dampen the newspaper slightly, wipe the glass in circular motions, and follow with a dry sheet to buff the surface. The result is completely clear, streak-free glass that no paper towel achieves as consistently. It costs nothing, uses something that would be recycled anyway, and produces a better result than most commercial window cleaning products available today. Number 5, tatami mat care routine. Tatami mats are made from natural rush grass over a compressed rice straw base. That natural composition means they respond well to proper care and deteriorate quickly without it. Moisture is the primary enemy, followed by abrasive cleaning that damages the woven surface. Japan has a specific routine for maintaining them correctly. Daily care involves dry brushing along the grain of the weave with a soft brush or dry cloth, never against it. which removes surface dust without damaging the fibers. For a deeper clean, a cloth wrung out almost completely dry is wiped along the grain, and the mat is then aired thoroughly before any furniture is placed back on it. Direct sunlight fades tatami, so rooms are ventilated rather than exposed to prolonged UV. Moisture is the biggest threat, so any spill is treated immediately and the room is aired regularly to prevent the humidity buildup that causes mold to develop underneath. Properly maintained tatami lasts decades. Neglected tatami deteriorates within a few years. Number 6. Daily kitchen counter wipe down. Kitchen counters accumulate bacteria faster than almost any other surface in the home. Food preparation leaves behind invisible residue, moisture from washing and cooking sits on the surface, and anything that lands on a kitchen counter throughout the day adds to a layer of contamination that builds up between cleans. Japan wipes every kitchen counter completely dry after every single use. A dedicated kitchen cloth is kept specifically for this purpose. After cooking, after washing up, after any activity that involves the counter, the surface gets wiped down completely before anything else happens. Not a quick pass with a damp cloth. A thorough wipe that removes moisture, food residue, and any debris from the entire surface. Because it happens after every use rather than at the end of the day, bacteria never get the sustained damp environment they need to multiply. The counter stays genuinely clean rather than visibly clean, and the kitchen smells fresher as a direct result of the moisture being removed consistently. Number 7. Rubbish sorting and daily disposal. In most Western homes, rubbish goes into one bin. It accumulates over several days, and by the time it gets taken out, the contents have had enough time to start breaking down, producing the odor and moisture that make a kitchen bin one of the least pleasant parts of the home to deal with. Japan eliminates the problem through a sorting system that requires daily engagement with waste disposal. Household rubbish is divided into specific categories. Burnables, non-burnables, plastics, glass, cans, and cardboard are all separated and collected on designated days of the week. Because collection happens frequently and each category has a scheduled day, nothing sits inside the home long enough to become a problem. Food waste goes out on burnable collection days, which typically occur multiple times per week. The bin never fills to a point where odor builds because the contents are removed before that stage is reached. The sorting itself takes no extra time once the habit is established. The bins stay clean, the kitchen stays odor-free, and rubbish never accumulates into a problem. Number 8. Washing walls and skirting boards. Walls don't look dirty because the layer of dust and grease that accumulates on them builds up so gradually it becomes invisible through familiarity. Most people never clean their walls between repaints, which means vertical surfaces that have been accumulating a thin film of cooking grease, dust, and fingerprints for years are considered clean simply because they don't look obviously dirty. Japan wipes walls and skirting boards down regularly as part of the standard cleaning routine. A lightly dampened microfiber cloth wiped across wall surfaces picks up the accumulated layer of dust and grease that dry dusting misses. Skirting boards get wiped along their full length to remove the dust that settles on horizontal surfaces at floor level and gets kicked up every time someone walks past. Done regularly, it takes minutes and the cloth comes away visibly dirty every single time, which is the clearest possible demonstration of how much accumulates on surfaces most people never think to clean. Number 9. Entrance mat discipline. The genkan shoe removal system prevents outdoor dirt from entering the home, but the mats positioned within it are what make that system genuinely effective, rather than just symbolic. Japan uses high-quality entrance mats placed both outside and inside the gen threshold, and maintains them properly rather than leaving them to accumulate the dirt they're supposed to trap. The outdoor mat is coarse and firm, designed to scrape debris from shoe soles before they are removed. The indoor mat sits just inside the threshold and catches any remaining residue. Both are shaken out, beaten, or washed regularly on a fixed schedule rather than being left until they're visibly saturated with dirt. A mat that's never cleaned stops trapping dirt and starts redistributing it. Japan understands that the mat is only as effective as its maintenance, which is why entrance mat care is treated as a non-negotiable part of the weekly routine rather than an afterthought. Number 10. Cleaning as a family habit. In most households, cleaning falls to one person. Everyone else benefits from a clean home without contributing to maintaining it, which means the person responsible carries a disproportionate and permanent workload that never gets lighter. Japan distributes that workload across every member of the household from an early age. Specific cleaning tasks are assigned to each family member as standard daily and weekly responsibilities. Children sweep, wipe surfaces, and tidy their own spaces as a normal part of their routine, rather than as an occasional chore used as a consequence or a bargaining tool. The result is a home where maintenance is shared so evenly that no single person is overwhelmed by it. Each person's contribution is small because it's divided across multiple people, but the combined effect is a home that stays consistently clean without any one person spending significant time or effort maintaining it alone. It also builds the same habits Japan instills through school cleaning culture. Children who clean at home and at school become adults who clean automatically. Number 11. Monthly appliance wipe down. Kitchen appliances accumulate grease, dust, and food splatter on their exterior surfaces continuously. The back of the microwave, the sides of the toaster, the top of the refrigerator, the base of the kettle. None of these surfaces get cleaned during a standard kitchen wipe down, and over months the accumulation bakes on and becomes significantly harder to remove. Japan addresses this with a scheduled monthly appliance clean. Every appliance gets pulled away from the wall or lifted off the counter. The surfaces underneath get wiped. The exterior of every appliance gets cleaned completely, including the back panels and undersides that never get attention during daily cleaning. Doing this monthly means the grease and dust never reach the point where they require heavy degreasers or extended scrubbing. A damp cloth handles everything because nothing has been given enough time to harden. The kitchen looks consistently cleaner. Appliances last longer because dust isn't insulating their motors and vents, and the monthly session takes a fraction of the time that leaving it for 6 months would require. Number 12. Air purifier filter maintenance. An air purifier with a clogged filter doesn't purify air. It moves air through a barrier so saturated with captured particles that it can no longer trap new ones effectively, which means the machine is running constantly, consuming electricity, and providing almost none of the benefit it was purchased for. Japan maintains air purifier filters on a fixed schedule rather than waiting until performance visibly drops. Filters are checked monthly. Pre-filters that catch larger particles are removed and washed regularly. The main HEPA filter is replaced according to the manufacturer's schedule, rather than being ignored until the machine starts making noise or displaying a warning light. Japanese homes, particularly in cities, run air purifiers continuously throughout the day. Maintaining the filter properly is what makes that worthwhile rather than performative. A clean filter running continuously produces air quality that's measurably different from a clogged filter running in the same room. Japan treats filter maintenance as the non-negotiable second half of owning an air purifier. Number 13. Grease filter cleaning above stove. The range hood above the stove has a grease filter that catches airborne oil particles produced every time something is fried, sautéed, or roasted. Most people never clean it. Over months, it becomes so saturated with grease that it stops capturing new particles, begins dripping grease back onto the stove below, and creates a fire risk directly above an open flame. Japan cleans it on a regular schedule. The filter is removed, submerged in hot water mixed with a degreasing agent, and left to soak until the grease loosens and wipes away cleanly. Done every 1 to 2 months, the process takes about 15 minutes, and the filter comes out completely clear. A clean filter captures grease effectively, which means less grease settling on surrounding surfaces, a kitchen that stays cleaner between deep cleans, and a range hood that actually does the job it's there to do. It's one of the most neglected cleaning tasks in most kitchens, and one of the most impactful ones to maintain consistently. Number 14. Nightly kitchen reset. Every other habit on this list maintains a specific surface or tackles a specific problem. This one resets the entire kitchen every single night so that none of those problems get a chance to compound overnight. The nightly kitchen reset is exactly what it sounds like. Before bed, every surface gets wiped. The sink gets cleaned and dried. The drain net gets emptied and replaced. Dishes are washed or loaded into the dishwasher. Appliances go back to their designated spots. The bin gets checked. The floor gets a quick sweep if needed. The whole process takes between 5 and 15 minutes depending on what was cooked that evening. What it prevents is the compounding effect of a kitchen that never fully resets. Grease sits on surfaces overnight and becomes harder to remove by morning. A full sink creates odor by the time you wake up. Clutter from the evening accumulates into clutter from the previous week. Starting every morning in a clean kitchen changes how the entire day feels. Japan figured this out a long time ago. If you want to see more amazing things Japan is doing better than the rest of the world, then like and subscribe. And make sure to watch the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more spotless ideas.